I got the website up on this screen here. We launched about a week ago. I mean, how is your feeling on the look of it today? Like on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being like totally happy. How do you feel about the site look?
The look overall is a 10. I will say Art has cared about one thing, and it was that all the body text is a serif font.
Okay.
Instead of sans serif, which is what it is now. So if we could change that, then it's a 10.
Okay. Right. So it was sans serif, it was serif, but now it's
sans serif right now. But he wants it all the like body text everywhere to be a serif font.
Serif, got it. Okay.
Like in the headline here, you'll see it has, that's a sans serif font. There's no little
right.
And so that was the whole thing. That was like his one request.
Gotcha. Okay.
To me, because I said yesterday with them, I'm like, what do you want about the website? He goes, if you change the font, I'm great.
Okay.
I was like, okay, well, that seems doable.
Yeah, we'll get that done. No problem.
Other small things are when we're on, and maybe this is just more of the fact that like we need to get an app done at some point, but like when you're looking at the website on your phone, there, how like on the top on the front page you have, at the cross says news, sports, family and friends, obituaries, whatever. Right. But if you click in the drop down, that thing is not there on the mobile edition. But if you click in the top left on like the drop down bar, you get the like my account, subscribe. Right. It would be nice if we could somehow also get those categories appearing.
Oh yes, I see.
You know what I mean? So that it's not like, oh, if I want to get to opinion, I got to scroll all the. Right. You know what That was like one thing I noticed.
That makes sense. Yep.
Yeah. So just like the drop down with the sections, and maybe let me pull it up again. Maybe.
So like, what if? So right now, we have it here. So you just want basically all this unpacked into this menu.
Well, I mean, if you could get them in there so they're in both. Okay, so like right there. Oh, so it is there.
It's there, but it's a little. It's kind of hidden. I would say it's hidden.
I mean, a little bit. Now that I see.
Right.
Wait, now it makes sense. Like, oh, it's under there. Whereas I would have just looked at that and been like, oh, that's just going to the home. But.
Right.
All right. I'm over it then. That's fine. I can live with that.
You sure? Because really, I don't think it'll be a problem to make it a little bit more clear. Just because if it confused you, and it did confuse me at first too.
Well, even if instead of the little house, it just said like sections, is that something? Like,
right?
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I don't know if that's an option, but as I sit here and look at. Because when you see the things at the top on the desktop, it's not a big deal because they're all right there. And then when I was using the mobile one the other night, I was like, oh, well, maybe this is something
Yep. No.
Okay.
That's really good feedback, Terry. Let's see if we can we just change the name of this, and if not, maybe we just have them all listed here. But I believe we can change the name. Shouldn't be a problem.
Okay.
Cool. Okay, we got that on our list. May not be able to knock these things off as we talk, but
no, absolutely not. I don't expect you to.
Well, some of them are pretty small, but yeah. What else you got for me? Those are two really good ones.
We just like anytime you're on any sort of story on the mobile. If I'm just clicking on one, it would be nice if there was a subscribe button somewhere on the page.
Right.
Like there always is on the desktop on every page.
Right. I see.
But it's just I don't know. That was another thing like we noticed at one point is like just having that there if people are.
So I think what we could do is, well, first of all, just keep in mind that because we have the metered paywall, there is a subscribe button if they're not logged in.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's just, then let's roll with that. That's fine.
That's probably, just because I'm thinking until The only other time that we would want to show it is when they're still under the meter, but that meter shows up at the bottom of every article. Yes, I think
Okay.
that's
Yeah. I see. Okay. Yep. I see what you're saying.
Yep. No, I'm kind of putting it together myself too. All right. Yeah, but do keep in mind that on the mobile site, we can do things like, for example, put a big button at the top of the screen for subscribe that only appears on mobile and doesn't appear also at the top of, the desktop version. So like, for example, we could put an ad underneath the Storm Lake ad here for subscribe. And that is just geared towards mobile.
I mean,
browsers.
I'd be even thrilled if we somehow just took out the Storm Like the book ad and just made that,
subscribe.
John here hates that ad. The book. He just said right now, he just said, kick that fucker off the website.
Get rid of the book. Well,
So,
this is Art's book, so I don't know what
Art's book. Well, he just cares about serif font. literally his only ask. So
okay. Yeah. So that
other than that, the thing's great. We've had a ton of positive feedback, emails, comments from people.
Awesome. Great.
The snowbird folks who have gone south all dig it. It's great. Now we've already seen just even little things. John said it yesterday, posting stuff on Facebook.
Right.
Just how much better it looks and how much more click through we're getting and things like that, just because people click on pictures and see it. And
right.
We look like a real newspaper on social media now after years of not.
That's great, man.
Yeah, that's been good. My only other thing was, as I kind of go through, I need some more training on the member.
Yeah.
thing.
No problem. That's exactly what we do on these follow-up calls. So I want to dig into that. I'm going to pass it over to Terry to go through some of those functions, because you've probably had to do some things where you're like, oh, I'm not actually sure how.
Yeah, I've of all the people migrating over, I've had two folks that I don't know if it's user error or whatever, and I tried to go in and I just them not quite getting how that's working. My other thing is too, I'd said early on too that we have this other newspaper, the Aurelia Star.
Yep.
Now that this is kind of up and running, I would like to at some point just get that added here somewhere. And how I envision it is at the very top where you have the sections here.
Yep.
With the edition, whatever. If we could just make one of those that says Aurelia Star, and we just dump the PDF e-edition there.
Right.
Because the normal news stories that run in there are already on our website. So it's not like it needs to be this static standalone whatever. We just need a place to that aureliastar.com. We can make it forward and it will go to our website, but it will be that. And then the just e-edition lives there.
Sure. Yeah, that's no problem at all. We'll just make that an e-edition only page. Terry, can you take that down and make sure that we any other things like that before we get into the MemberPress stuff? Any other format or structural changes?
No, the format structural changes are great. Like I said, I'm still kind of feeling my way through understanding some of the ad rotate stuff and things like that, which will come with time. And if I got a question, obviously I'll just shoot an email. But by and large, that's been fine.
Well, that's kind of another question I have for you, just really quick then, before we move on to that, is just the training. We've had a couple training sessions kind of as needed. How has the whole launch process been from your perspective? Because I'm just interested in your feedback, as a newspaper guy, we try to do the rapid prototyping, and then, when you were ready to move forward, we were, having meetings. How did you feel about that whole process?
It was great. It went better than I could have imagined. I was losing sleep over it happening and had these ideas of it being a debacle, and none of these older readers and folks could get in, and nobody could log in, and I wasn't going to do. And then we flipped the switch, it populated, and everyone, obviously the emails that we sent out that you guys had built that said, here's how to transfer whatever. Like I said, of all the 500 and some of those, 400 and some of those, I've only had two that have been So
great.
It's been easier, infinitely better than anyone expected, hoped at all.
Oh, right. That's wonderful.
I like I said, leading up to it, I lost sleep a couple nights because I was like, oh my God, like, you know, we've never done this. This is a huge change. People
Right.
up here don't like change.
Right.
And it's been great. So
It's great, man. Thank you so much. I mean, that means a lot. I know when we first talked, I knew it was going to be a good fit, just from what you were saying. And I was also just curious if you would comment on was there any one thing about the company, Our Hometown, that made you, feel comfortable making that switch that you had, you guys had kind of admittedly procrastinated for a while just because you didn't want to have the problems, but like, was it because we only work with newspapers or because we're on WordPress? Was there anything about us that you liked, especially?
The CMS, the WordPress system was great.
Okay.
The fact that you were strictly with newspapers is like a huge relief that, you're specializing in what we do. It's not, you're actually tailoring to car dealers and people like this, and we're just part of it. The other great thing was that you're locally owned.
Yep.
You don't need to in like a family owned thing, whereas everything like when we look at Town News, big corporate thing with Lee Enterprises and slow responses, and we'd be filing help support tickets that don't get answered for days, and you don't know what the situation is with that larger company. Like Lee Enterprises has filed for bankruptcy previously, and so there's just a lot of uncertainty, and we're in an uncertain industry, and so it's nice to just have some certainty and calm with all that going on.
That's awesome.
Well, like I said, Town News is like, oh, we're hoping this is in August. They're like, well, we're hoping to have everything up and running for you by January. And then I call you, and you guys had a prototype to us in less than 2 days. And then we were up and running in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, awesome. And the training and support and everything's been great.
Sweet.
Every time I've had a question, Terry especially, like, amazing. We just get instant response. Here's like great directions and step by step that kind of walk through and how to fix it and what to do, and it's been great.
Amazing, dude. Thank you so much. Every one of those points you hit on, I really am so proud of the fact that we can do these things quickly. It's our focus. So you've just reinforced the value of that as a customer. So I appreciate that. Just one more quick thing before we get on. How would you feel about recommending Our Hometown to other publishers in the local newspaper industry?
Yeah, sign me up. Sure. Yeah.
All right. Done.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Done.
We should talk about that.
I'll make the Pulitzer Prize winner do it too. I'm absolutely like, if it wasn't, I don't know what the situation is going to end up being because of the COVID thing, but normally at the Iowa newspaper convention and stuff, when I go to that stuff, absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome.
No doubt. Like every time I talk to somebody else who's doing this, like some of the other papers that we're kind of like friends with in the state, I know 2 of them are on Town News now. Like, I'm absolutely going to talk to them.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much. I look forward to hearing from them. We've always gotten, we've grown all through word of mouth almost exclusively, hardly any advertising. So I appreciate you doing that.
And it was one of those things where when I was looking around, you were doing my hometown paper in Minnesota.
I know. Yeah, that was what led me to this. And it was, like you said, it's been great. It's been perfect. It's been a great match. And it was just because you were doing the paper in Pipestone. Right. Yeah, I know. That's the other way. People will just discover us and they won't even necessarily, know the publisher there that well. And they don't even necessarily recommend us. But, if they talk to them, they do. So cool, man. All right. Let's pivot then to